So this is our hall. This is where we assemble, all of us. Maybe after taking our supper down there, after taking our lunch and supper, this period of holiday, we come here to keep ourselves busy. Instead of just maybe roaming around, we come here. We have some movies we see. Maybe we can have some general dancing. But most of the thing that we always do here is just watching, because that is how we keep ourselves busy. First, before taking our breakfast, we do our normal duties, that is washing the dome. It's just normal. Yeah, you must do it. Yeah, and maybe sweeping the compound. We must be clean. If it's done properly and neatly, she'll give us now the permission to watch the television. So the person who watches over them, she's Anne. She's our grandmother. We love her so much.
Brilliant. Okay, Pastor Samson, the last time you were here, we used that building as a bakery, yes. But then they condemned that building and it went kaput. There were challenges with the electrical wiring, things like that, because that's a very, very old building, pre-colonial. So because the bakery was doing very, very good, we decided we still want to have it. John? Do you want to help the team understand everything about this thing that's going on here?
We want to sell this product from Sure Hope as a subsidiary. You know, Sure Hope is also a home. It has been a home for the orphanage, those people who are less fortunate. And it's a subsidiary, a kind of subsidiary, so that whatever we shall get also, we can also assist them. But also, we can also employ other people so that they can benefit. We are intending also to teach these children from homes that have finished schools. We want to train them. We want them to learn. You know, when we have an enterprise here, they will feel at least they are somewhere. They will have that exposure. They will not feel, they will eat bread here, they will see what is being done. They'll forget the stigma. The bakery has not started because there are things that we are lacking. There are machines that we are looking, like Spiro Mixer. That is what we are lacking. We are lacking a machine, and also there are some things that we are doing connection for the electricity. There is a bit part. There is a certain part that is left, so that we can start it off.
I'll show you. I found the water. This is the other one. This is the main one that we got. Look at that.
Wow. What makes them turn?
I don't know. It's the water.
It might be gravity.
Flowing rivers.
Flowing rivers. Pastor Sammy, we came up with this experiment.
Forefathers.
Nothing's happening.
I'm trying my best to.
You said flowing river underneath there. Is that not the first spot? Pastor Sammy.
I want to see if it goes back. There's a lot of water. Is this water still here?
No, you need to go back.
No, do you know why? Because I'm a flowing river.
My name is Sam. Chemical engineer. I work here. We process water for maybe domestic use. We sell some for domestic use. And we bought some and we sell to the local market, where the income, we use it to support the kids.
2014, it didn't even exist. at the time. It was just a plan, it was a dream. Now, 2015, 2016, it was operated more like a pharmacy. Now it's a fully functional clinic. I mean, there's so much, I mean, you can read all the different things that they do there, checks for syphilis, pregnancy test, minor surgeries are actually dealt with over here as well. It's good, it's good. The development is incredible. Incredible.
What was nice this time that we didn't get to do last time is that rather than seeing all of the children en masse, they had hand-selected some children that they were slightly more concerned about, gave us access to their medical records as much as they had before time so that we could prep for seeing them.
Or it was just them?
Then bus starts coming time after time.
Things like injections that she's getting into her knees, it might be steroid injections. There are other types of injections that help to try and treat the actual cause of the juvenile arthritis. It's not the kind of thing that can be done here. So she needs to go to the specialist centre. At the moment, her knees seem okay, but she'll need regular follow-up. Do you understand? So if you have pain, you can take paracetamol, you can do gentle stretches, but the type of arthritis that you have with your knees needs a specialist doctor that works in the hospital. Okay? You can see them in the hospital. Do they do blood tests as well? Okay, yeah. So they need to keep doing that, and again, we can't do here. Yeah? Any questions? Okay.
There were definitely things that limited our ability to give as much medical care as we would like here. Some of these kids had been seen in the hospital, had been investigated for fairly serious things like chest pain, seizures, and had been investigated to a point, but we have to remember that in this system, everything costs money. It's the initial investigation costs money, the medication costs money, the follow-up clinic appointments cost money. So it's not as simple as saying, oh, they were diagnosed, you plug them into the system and that's it. It doesn't guarantee their ongoing care. So it's difficult in that sense. And then one of the other things I've noticed from, particularly this time from talking to a few of the children, I've never been to a hospital or any kind of formal medical facility here, but it does seem that a lot of the children are given a bit of a brush off. They are talking to a variety, sometimes doctors, sometimes nurses, sometimes somebody that just works in the hospital, and they will pick on something quite small without doing what seems like thorough investigation, give them a diagnosis. You could argue that guessing that somebody has a cold because they are sneezing and are sniffling and have a fever, that's not really harmful in any way, shape or form. You would give advice without ever actually knowing, do they, kind of with any kind of formal diagnosis, do they actually have a cold? But seeing somebody with a rash and saying that that is HIV is harmful. Seeing somebody with a lump in their breast and telling them that they have breast cancer is harmful. And we're talking about children. For example, we saw a young lady that had no medical problems from birth, had not been sexually active, had some lower abdominal pain, some pain passing urine, which suggests possibly a urinary tract infection. She had spoken to a doctor who had not examined her, not done any tests, and been told she had syphilis. Yeah. Again, it shouldn't happen to anybody. Even more difficult when you lay that kind of load on a child. And she herself was able to say, actually, I don't think he listened to me. He didn't examine me. He didn't hear what I was saying. He just said I had syphilis. And then the pain continued. And so she went to go and see another doctor 2 weeks later, who then rightly diagnosed her with a urinary tract infection and gave her antibiotics. But you can imagine the anxiety that that causes. I have syphilis. I don't know how I got it. And the antibiotics that are supposed to fix it haven't, and then I have to go again. You can imagine the perception of stigma. She thinks, her counsellors think she has syphilis. This is what they're doing to children in some places.
So one of the young ladies we sponsor was in that queue last year.
Really?
Yeah. So
she's a young lady, but she lost the baby. One relationship. That's the thing. We just have to be grateful for God. Like, if you're in this kind of environment, you might not see far. You know, sometimes when you're used to your community, you see the norms of that community. And yeah, so she was in that queue. That's the collected food. She ended up being. She's 19, but she's just starting form. So I guess their secondary school is from 1 to 4, so she's just starting. So she did primary, but there was no money to fund further education. And then life happened, I guess. So that was the lady we adopted last year. And now she's back visiting, not in the queue, but she's serving. It's amazing, is that?
The dump site is essentially what it says on the tin. It is a massive landfill. So we have a community of people that are living out on massive piles of rubbish in essence. So you can imagine that means very basic facilities in terms of shelter. Sometimes it's more of a lean-to, so pieces of material kind of put together with something over the top. So you've got 4 walls and a roof. It means that hygiene, your ability to maintain good hygiene is limited. It means that people are cooking around open fires, so that has an impact on health as well, has an impact on nutrition. How much good food can you get when you live in a dump site? And obviously work there is limited, so it limits the amount of income people have and the ability to get themselves out of the situation. We had a triage station. We had 2 people doing blood pressures, 1 person doing blood sugars. Then we had a separate section that they were referred on to if they said they had any concerns or any medical problems.
Okay, you ready? One finger. It doesn't hurt. There you go. Perfect. You ready? Okay. So, this will tell us. How old are you? Okay, so it's 6.7, which is good, it's okay, which means you don't have diabetes. Happy day.
She's happy now.
It was a small proportion, relatively small proportion of those that came for food that decided that they wanted to be seen in the medical area. And it was quite a variety of conditions. What I would say is that nobody seemed to be coming with anything new. A lot of these people have been living with whatever their symptoms are for a long time. And it can be quite frustrating in that you recognize that you have a limited ability to do anything. We are trying to operate safely as much as possible. So nobody wants to come out here and assume that because we are not in the UK practicing in a hospital, that then gives us the right to do whatever we want. So as much as possible, I think if the issue is not immediately evident, then we are giving kind of what I would call more of a stopgap, so simple painkillers, and then we are asking people to go and seek the appropriate help, but maybe giving them more information as to what that appropriate help might be. So go to the hospital, ask for an x-ray, go to this clinic, ask for swabs, that kind of thing.
Most impactful thing for me would probably have to be going to the dump site. Just seeing the unbelievable state of poverty, like literally living in rubbish. But then the kids just being so happy, and just as soon as there was a football thrown in, it was like, game on.
So be very creative and think of ideas to showcase a positive thing.
Sometimes you think they're not listening or paying attention or are bored, but by the end of the session, they come back and it's like, you know what, I've learned a lot. They either tell you what they've learned and all that kind of stuff. So I think every year coming back and doing these workshops, I think it's very impactful.
Today, learned how to sew sanitary towels that are reusable, literally last night for 3 hours, and then now teaching a session on it today.
Something that they can use for years, they can pass down to generations, they could even use it to sell one day, and just being able to bond with them and just sit with them and sew. It seems so like basic, but it's such a, I don't know, I just get such good vibes from it.
Just hearing the stories from some of the children out here, like how some of them don't have parents or circumstances cause them to have to leave their parents and stuff. And they're still, when you ask them, what do you want to be when you're older? And they're like, I want to be a journalist, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor. So they're not being crippled by their environment. They want better than that. And I think for me, that's really impactful.
Then the day that we had workshops on peer pressure, sexual health and sex, dating and relationships. That workshop, a lot of things came out of that. The kids were asking a lot of serious questions, a lot of very, very heavy questions. But we thank God for the grace to answer and to impart wisdom on them. And then afterwards, we had a roundup session where we stood in our groups and we prayed and we worshipped and we had to pray for the kids.
I know the Bible says how my God, He dwells, He enjoys, He inhabits the praises of His people. So that is one way, one sure way of inviting His presence is as we worship Him. And in the midst of that worship, we will give opportunity for prayer.
I think the most impactful thing about this trip has been when we went to the dump site, which is where a lot of homeless people are living at the moment, and seeing the children that were living there. They were so happy to see us and wanted to play with us, and it was the most fun. But it was also just absolutely heartbreaking to know that we were leaving and going back to a hotel, and they were staying in a literal rubbish pit. And it was, I think, really impactful because you could tell, because you knew that those children are the kinds of people that are being helped out here. So it was almost getting to see the before and after.
Any of the kids from Shore 24 was watching this right now, I would tell them that they are so precious, so talented, so bright, and so loved by me, but most importantly by God.
I would say I love you. I would say thank you for being so welcoming and cheerful. You guys have inspired me in so many ways and renewed my faith. The way that you live life with God at the centre and people close behind is just incredible. It's just shown unbelievable love to all of us, and I'm so, so grateful. You're amazing. I would say you're amazing, you can do anything.
What I would say to any of the Shore kids watching this right now is well done. Well done for like keeping your head up. Well done for not, allowing your circumstances to stop you from achieving for greater things, and keep trusting God. You guys are amazing. You have been welcoming and warming to us, and we appreciate that, and we'll keep praying for you, and hopefully by the grace of God we'll see you next year.
I would say to any of the kids that are watching this, I would say, keep going, keep fighting, never ever give up, never ever let someone tell you that you can't do something or you're not worth anything, because you are more than you could ever know. And You've been through so much, probably more than I could imagine or more than I've been through, and you've made it this far. So don't cheat yourself. Don't say like, oh no, do not forget, it's not worth it, because it definitely is. And I think your stories will 100% change someone else's life. So I think sometimes when it's like really hard, don't even look at it like it's me, like no one cares. It's like you have the power to change someone else's life. So just keep going.
Okay, so to anyone at Shore 24, that's a child and young adult, what I would love to get across to them is just because we're on two different sides of the planet doesn't mean we don't go through the same issues. Sometimes they look at us and think, you're so happy, you've got it all together. But actually some of the struggles that we've dealt with in these topics in terms of identity, self-esteem, bullying, anger issues, just relationship, we go through those same things. We have to make a decision about what our principle is. So what I would say to them is, nothing is new under the sun. Be strong in who you are, and remember that this situation is not forever. You know, so let that motivate you to be all that you can be, so that you can make a difference to your generation.
For them to come is literally come and see for yourself. Come and put yourself in their shoes for that 2 weeks, and just speak to them, speak to the kids, and let them impact you. Obviously I can say like come, but let the kids of Shore 24 show you their lives. And so I think that would be my one statement, just come and see.
And I absolutely love them. And yeah, this is gonna be me for a very long time to come, as long as I can, as long as God will permit me.
A really good cause, it's a really good charity that they've got here. They're doing some great things for the community, and they need more people, they need more support. You'll enjoy it, it's great fun, and you're giving back to the community. It's very rewarding, and you're making a difference, so I'd say, yeah, go for it.